30th. It's year 2021. There's two stories tonight. One is somewhere they have a task, it's labeled EMS task force. They have some canine trials where special handlers have their service dog, and then they're showing some of the qualifications they're speaking of it. And then there's the today at League of Women's Voters. They've got some breakfast. Again, I'm not invited nor included in this level of land mismanagement. And they're celebrating not only black, what they consider black, which is normally mostly the African continents, some South American continents, but then they use an American forefront, which, again, if you could only pick two continents, North America being one of them, I thought North America was European and North America. It was not assimilated necessarily with what wanted to make priority of, again, the forefathers on Mount Rushmore look more to me like traditional European in artwork. That's what the museums call them. I thought that was one level of communication. How the theater of confusion has laid so much track of things that are continents of Africa and continents of South America, and superimposed them in some land grab or den napping or whatever the theater of war does when they're sleeping children of Earth that don't know anything that's going on. It's what it really feels like, I have to be honest. In like a self-defense contract of canine trials. So, this is this, but now this is what this looked like at some breakfast that happened somewhere today, and the words, and again, it's that druidically, the word woman, if you have a V on one side, you have a V on the other, and you put the two together, it looks like a W. It just does. But then it's like woman. It's Isle of Man. It's a pride ownership thing, and I'm looking out at the festering problem, and I'm like, they just got everything wrong.
Voting rights took center stage at an event to close out Women's History Month. The League of Women Voters hosted an awards breakfast under the theme Access to the Ballot Box. And as you can see right there, our own Eyewitness News anchor Charlene Ellicott hosted the event in Midtown. The organization honored the Black Economic Alliance for its work in fighting for...
You know what I don't see there? I don't see the Kelly and Ryan billionaires power vest. I'm looking at their hosted event. I don't even see the silly popsicle-colored life vest that Kelly put on in a one-size-fits-all, but not an extremely small woman. I'm just saying, there's some real communication issues. There's some really scary men somewhere. And they don't like being told that they got things wrong. But I think the children of Earth that perform these pantomime things should really get their facts and stories straight. because they're ruining a whole lot of stuff and angering a lot of really well-dressed men that don't like to be wrong. And they seem to be the ones with the checkbook that everybody wants to be friendly with, but the performance and the success ratio, I don't know.
Equality and equity in voting rights.
As much as there is hesitance to, get involved in what is perceived.
I've never heard of this man, but he's operating in Midtown under that label. Says he's an executive director of BEA. I've never even heard of BEA. I've heard of DEA, as in like Deca, Echo, Alpha. I've never heard of BEA.
Is perceived.
I also Deca, Echo, Alpha with like a TH at the end. I've heard of that.
To be a partisan political issue. I think there is an appreciation that everyone has a role to play. So I think organizations and individuals are being more thoughtful about how they can get in the game, how they can get off the sideline.
The program also...
How they can get in the game. Get off the sidelines. Is that an admission of guilt? Because I'm thinking when I just saw something go on with Egypt and some soccer thing with some other league. They real quick brief. Normally I don't watch sports, and then they had a banana league, and I was like, but they were like extremely short baseball players, which I had never heard of either, and green lights in the face of the Egypt person, and I'm like, what are they all trying to say? Like, these are all, there's no context. They haven't built a contextual, like, soapbox platform as to what the heck they're talking about and where they all come from. I mean, like, why do you give them wings and ability to fly themselves and congregate anywhere and affect and rattle other people's children that have no clue how to interact with the levels of problems that have been introduced to this agitated area of North America? And not only is he BEA, B as in whatever, there's some LWV, I mean, League of Women Voters of the City of New York. I mean, again, of piecemeal, of not of thine smite thee will, not of man, but of piecemeal, is what this feels like. Again. And then that brings me to, oh, what a web we weave when the art is to deceive. And I can't figure out sociologically, the guys featured in this particular story at Canine Trials, they're just a different breed of human. I mean, I don't know if they deal with other humans or they're so used to dealing with an animal that doesn't speak human and watching for cues and signals, so they're a little bit more in tune with the environment and different whatever. But they just, I don't know, they're just perhaps just a different walk of life. But I totally appreciate what they put on for this evening as their example. And here, it actually has a 555, go figure on that one.
Well, but
before you see police canines on the street, they get extensive training alongside their handlers, and they even get the chance to compete in some friendly competition. Canine trials are underway in New Jersey. Dogs putting their skills to the test to find out who's best in show. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Tony Yates.
If there was any worry at all, it would have had to have been the handlers, because these canines showed up and showed out top-notch skills in detecting explosive materials and drugs in this certification trial.
So this dog that's working here is in Essex County, one of their newest explosive dogs, and recently went to canine school in Passaic County. When I see them doing their job and finding the explosive and narcotics, it's very gratifying.
15 packages. Okay, 2 of them will have hides.
The trials are conducted by the Police Canine Association Region 15, and they are tested across the board.
So it's a little bit of a competition. We're looking for the perfect dog. The dog moves quickly, the dog responds quickly, the officer that's able to move the dog quickly and read the dog's alert and know that the dog is an odor. The perfect dog.
These partnerships between dog and handler are also judged. It is a team effort.
They take their canines home. They're part of the family.
In this test, they're sniffing for explosives, but officials try to throw them off a bit. Some cans may have dog
pixelation?
food, some may have coffee grounds or other scents to see if they distract the canines, if they fall for the trick. We saw none. Most of these dogs received 4 months of training under the Passaic County Sheriff's elite canine staff.
We train probably between 10 to 15 dogs a year sometimes, and we help out a lot of the smaller agencies throughout the area that don't have trainers and don't have the facilities.
The top canines are chosen to compete in the national trials this year in Georgia. These local taskmasters all seem to strike gold. In Wayne, Tony Yates, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Cute. Well, there's still much more news ahead.
So, I don't know about that pixelation, if that was like a live thing, because I don't think it had that originally. For like feedback loop. I don't know if that's a positive feedback loop or whatever on that. So it's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxies, Broken, Speyside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. It's March 30th, 2022. And the light in Linda's room is like, it's got a sound and it's strobing. But again, even the pulsar, it's not a steady timing mechanic, like, it's not striking on time. It's this erratic behavior. It's like, it's just how I feel in this area. There's so many different dysfunctions, and they're not even like in this beautiful ballet of like, of synchronization and symbiosis. It is so chaotic and atypical. So,